What's up, guys? The Real Swim Cheesy. We're back at this again. Only, what now, 26 days away. So again, we're getting closer and closer, right? And today I wanted to talk about probably the most interesting character in the roster that hasn't appeared in the story yet, and that is Faust, because, you know, he's gotten quite the design change, right? And, you know, it's really interesting because if you think about it, right, there's only been 3 weeks since the events of Zerd. So this is like a quick transformation for him, right? And we really don't know at the end of the day too much about like why it was this drastic. Essentially what we see is that, or like what we're told in the GG glossary, and you know, Daisuke himself kind of, I think in an interview also mentioned stuff like this, was that after finally getting that confronting Cronus, talking and fully, you know, understanding the picture of what caused that girl to die on his operating table, which caused him to, you know, go mad, start killing people. You know, that's when he spiraled out of control, right? He's, you know, finally getting that clarity. He's finally, like, you know, returned to his roots per se, and you know, it's maybe because of that, right, that his, you know, behavior is more erratic, that his speech seems to have gotten more disturbed, and by, you know, returning to his roots, I mean like saving people's lives, like actually being a doctor. And it's because of that reason too that, like, I've seen some people be like, oh well, maybe Faust is evil now. I don't think that's the case, because he's returning to his roots of saving people's lives. So unless there's like some weird stage where he's like returning to his roots, but he's like first has to return to that murderous route, I don't think he's going to be a villain. But it is still a possibility, because again, he did go through that murderous phase, and again, kind of reverting back, right? And you know, it's so, we get to see with him too, he's connected to so many characters, and it actually makes a lot of sense that we see him with, you know, Mei and Johnny, given that he was last seen helping, you know, the Japanese people, because they had like a disease which would cause like information overload, and they would just fucking like die. So that was kind of messed up. So, you know, he's trying to help fix that, but you know, that's probably why he stayed with them. And Ram actually, in the arcade mode, is with Faust. So we don't really know exactly what their relationship entails yet, but again, it's implied and hinted at that, like, yeah, these two characters are now connected in some way. So again, it'll be fun to kind of see what's up with them. And as well as Baiken and Delilah, right? Because, well, you know, Baiken's Japanese, so again, she fits in that. But Delilah has an extremely rare and unique condition, right? So it would make sense, again, you get the best doctor to try to figure that out. So and again, he couldn't figure out like Zappa's situation, which we'll kind of get into, like, well, just because Zappa, you know, he can manipulate and knows about spirits, and Happy Chaos is a spirit. So that might insinuate Zappa comes back, but you know, Happy Chaos might, or Faust might know a little bit more about like Happy Chaos and everything revolving like his situation. But again, if we look at like his relationship with Delilah, right, this is probably like a situation which he's never seen before, and it's probably really intriguing, and he might even try to cure it. We don't know the full extent of like how Bedman's miracle essentially that brought Delilah into the real world. But again, if there are still some issues with her, it would make sense that again they have Faust there to, you know, help that. And it's not just like, you know, these characters, as well as again Cronus. Cronus again was last seen with Faust, and it would make sense if we saw Cronus in the story mode. Cronus, you know, is one of the apostles, one of the, you know, learners, or, you know, Happy Chaos was his teacher, right? So I would really like to see him in the story, so that he can not only talk to Happy Chaos, but we can also see the relationship, or like the conversation between, you know, him and Faust. Like, we pretty much have all the pieces ourselves of like what happened, you know, but again, just seeing Faust maybe have that clarity, and seeing what really like pushed him to get to this state, because again, it's so like, I'm really hoping that it's not just like kind of skipped upon. I really hope we do like see like maybe Faust has some mental illness or something that is causing him to act this way now. But you know, I think we really need to see Cronus and really need to understand from his, you know, that conversation. And the other thing I really wanted to point out is Faust, while also being a brilliant doctor, is also probably like one of the most powerful and knowledgeable magic users, right? He can use short-range teleportation magic, which we really don't see a lot, besides from like gears or really anything that has power from the backyard. So, you know, I think Faust could also again, if we're going, we looked at like the Book of Origins, like the backyard. If we kind of go in this maybe route of like kind of reverting back to the origin of magic and exactly what it is, Faust could also help kind of crack that code, which Asuka kind of insinuated when he was like, now I get it. Magic is the ability to, bend the world and reality to your whim. Like, it's like, wow, no shit. But, this is a revelation, so they might also consult him, or he might be able to give some answers on magic that we don't know. Because again, he's probably one of the smartest characters in the entire series. Obviously, he acts a little whack now, but again, I'm really excited to see what they do with him. He has a lot of connections, like I said, to a lot of characters. Very smart. Fanny, actually, one of the old characters that he saved, is actually written in the GG glossary that she's actually looking for and hunting for him. So some people have speculated that she might be a future DLC, but I think it would just be cool nonetheless to kind of see her, see like anybody come into the story and again thank Faust, because I think Faust is kind of in this again weird state where he wants to help people, and maybe seeing someone from his past, that he did help, kind of fix his mind a little bit, or like kind of revert the situation. But this might be just the Faust we're stuck with too, right? But again, he's probably the character that I'm most interested in the roster, to see exactly what led them, obviously again in 3 weeks to be changed this much. But yeah, so again, 26 days. I'm super excited. Faust again, like come on, oh look at, he's got the shoes, man. Like come on, he's got fashion, and we get to see him take off his hat, man. Like come on, are we gonna see Dr. Baldhead return? Maybe it's a plot twist that it was a different person. That'd be kind of funny, but anyways, yeah, I appreciate you guys listening to these, keeping up with these. It's real some cheesy, how it be, and love y'all, and take care.